Well, hello, tennis fans, and the finals are set. Probably the finals that a lot of us thought would happen once Zverev lost. We got Rafa Nadal versus Daniil Medvedev in the final of the Australian Open. For number 21 for Rafa, huge history, huge milestone for him on the line. And for number 2 in a row, I think to become the first male player ever to do that, to win his first two majors in a row for Daniil Medvedev. So we're going to talk about how they got here, how Nadal beat Berrettini relatively easily, and then how Medvedev beat Tsitsipas while calling the umpire a small cat and beating him. And I'll address that I did get my prediction wrong for that one. So we're going to get into all the details, break down the matchup of Nadal and Medvedev in the final, what either guy has to do. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Slice, and I am stoked that you're here.
Welcome to the Australian Open.
Oh, that's a beauty. Oh, what an athlete!
Yeah, before we get into it, thank you guys for being here and supporting the Slice through the entire 2022 Australian Open. I've had so much fun doing the coverage, doing the live streams of the Canadian live stream. If you're new here and you haven't yet, make sure you click the subscribe button and like this video. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you want to support the channel, you can join the channel. That way you get access to exclusive videos. You can send in questions that I ask the pros when I interview them, like when I go to Europe this summer. And you just also get special emojis in the chat. And that is just legendary support. So I appreciate it. Also, the Slice is brought to you by Top Court, which is like not free, video lessons by top pros like Nick Kyrgios, for example, become a GOAT, on how they play, how they train, how they think. And even in this one, Nick breaks down how to do an underarm serve, how to do a tweener, how to just have like total shenanigans on the court, like you will be in the doubles final coming up. So anyways, a free 14-day trial for Top Court is in the link below. So check that out and you are welcome. Anyways, Rafa beats Berrettini in 4. Actually, I literally predicted in 4 that would happen. And then Medvedev beats Tsitsipas in 4. And I actually predicted Tsitsipas in 4. And obviously that didn't pan out. I have different reasons for that, and I'll get into that. But first of all, let's break down what happened in Nadal Berrettini. So Nadal Berrettini, Nadal started very good, hitting great, being aggressive, playing clean. And Berrettini started pretty slow. He looked kind of shell-shocked. He didn't look like he was moving well. I think he called the trainer pretty early, but it didn't seem that he actually had anything like physically wrong. There was something, he took some type of tablet, and that seemed to help him later on. But by that time, it was already 2 sets down because Rafa was just returning well, and Berrettini wasn't doing what he needed to do to really hurt Rafa. So Rafa got way ahead in the match very early, and then Berrettini started to turn around, and he got a break, and then he won the 3rd set, and then he was looking honestly pretty untouchable on his serve. I think he won 3 games in a row without dropping at least 3 games in a row, maybe the last couple of the set before as well, in a row without dropping a point on a serve. But then Rafa just played one great return game at I think it was 3-4 Berrettini serving. Berrettini missed like 3 forehands in that game. Rafa got the break, and that's all she wrote. So honestly, this match could have been, Berrettini could have won this match if he had started playing very well from the beginning, and he didn't go 2 sets down. And then it could have been a slugfest, and you never know how Rafa's body would have held up. But Rafa got ahead so quick and so early because he played great and played clean, like I said, that he was able to just kind of put so much damage on Berrettini that it just took one break, and then the match was over. So great from Rafa there. He's into his, he's into another final. I think it's his 31st final, which is just crazy. So it's just, if you think about it as like Rafa Nadal is an international treasure for tennis. Like the way that he's come back from, like he said afterwards, like potentially retiring, thinking about not being able to play again, to then just be able to play like throughout this whole tournament. He's had such a good mentality of just like, I'm happy to be playing again at a pretty good level. And now he's made it all the way to the final. So everyone's asking him about number 21. Are you going to get number 21? And he's like, you know what? The most important thing for me is that I'm playing in another final, and then I'm playing well. And that, that's what I like care about the most. And, he probably cares. He probably does. He obviously wants to win another slam, and he'd love to have the record. But he said none of his happiness depends on it. I think that's just a really holistic, great way to look at it. And Rafa is a legend and a role model for everyone. So Rafa's into the final. Now, Tsitsipas versus Medvedev. Medvedev came off that grueling 5-set match win over 2 sets come from behind win over 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 Felix, and then he came into this match being very tired, or I thought he would be very tired. And Tsitsipas came into this match destroying Jannik Sinner, playing, I said at the time, the best tennis I'd seen all tournament. I still think it's the best tennis I'd seen all tournament from one player. Coming into this match, and I was like, you know what? I'm leaning Tsitsipas. I think he's going to be able to get on the front foot, hit the ball super clean, and take it to Medvedev. And I think Medvedev will be exhausted a bit. And then, if Tsitsipas gets that first set, I think Medvedev could get super negative and kind of blow up. And it almost did happen because Medvedev did get a little wild. If you didn't know, this happened.
Do you understand Greek? Do you understand Greek? So next time it should be a code violation because he's speaking Greek. If you don't, you are a, how can I call it? Small cat.
He's like, you are a small cat. The umpire's like, yeah, that sounds good. So yeah, Medvedev went crazy a little bit after, I guess, he got broken and lost the second set, or during that time. I actually couldn't stay up all night to watch this match. I watched it. Unfortunately, the worst match was shown first. Like Berrettini Nadal was not as entertaining, I thought, as Medvedev Tsitsipas, but I got to go back and watch all the highlights and kind of see what happened in the match. And when Tsitsipas tied up the match, like Medvedev got a little bit wild. And even he said in the post-match press conference, they were asking about his mentality and does he feel bad for being mean to the umpires or whatever. He says he regrets it, but that's still the funniest thing ever. Like, you are, I don't know how to say, a small cat. And the umpire's just like, yep. But he said he's like, it's tough. Like, he's like, I could have lost tonight because I lost it a bit mentally. Like, I went a bit nuts. And he says basically when he gets that level, he's losing control of his focus and his mental strength in the match. So he was able to get through the third set and win that. And that was obviously probably crucial. And then he was able to kind of roll through the fourth set. The biggest difference, if we were going to look at the stats in this matchup with Stefanos and Medvedev, is the serving for sure, on hard courts especially. In this match, especially 13 aces for Medvedev, 5 aces for Tsitsipas. First serve in 71%. It's pretty much the same, but 71% is super high, especially when you have a serve like Medvedev, where he's winning 86% of his first serves compared to 67% of Stefanos. So Medvedev's a better returner than Stefanos, and he's also probably a better server, or at least he served better tonight. Wins 72% of his second serves as well. That's honestly just not good enough from Stefanos to win. So the biggest difference there was definitely serving. They both came to net, won the same amount of points, basically. Stefanos only won 14% of the serving points on Medvedev's serve. So it's just so hard to win a set or a match over 5 sets like that. So that's the main moral of that story. There's obviously tons of salt between Medvedev and Tsitsipas. They're not huge fans of each other. And that's fair. They don't have to be. I love a little bit of rivalry. Probably Medvedev thinks he's a small cat, and Stefanos probably still thinks Medvedev's a bullshit Russian. So he goes back and forth. So yeah, that's how the semifinals went. I was impressed with Medvedev, how he came back. He's playing super well, serving incredible. So that brings us to the final, where Nadal, Medvedev are going to go at it, and a lot has maybe changed since their last meeting at a Grand Slam, which was the 2019 U.S. Open final. So it was another final, which probably will help Medvedev because he's has the experience to not get starstruck by it. So basically, what's changed since the last time they played? So this is their head-to-head. You can see Rafa won the first 2. He won the final of the 2019 Masters very cleanly, and then he won. This is this 2019 run here is right when Medvedev was having his initial hardcore breakout. Played super well. He won Cincinnati, made the final of Washington, made the final of Masters in Canada. He made the final of the U.S. Open. Lost to Rafa in that as well, but that was it. He almost came back from 2 sets down, so made it super close. So if you're thinking about this, what's changed what's changed since that 2019 US Open final? Well, Medvedev's won a slam. I'd say he's a better hardcourt player. He's a better player in general. His serve's better. And I think Rafa's, he's not at the level that he was in 2019 as far as right now. Like, he won 2 slams that year. He was, less old. He's like 2.5 years older now. And he, wasn't coming off 6 months off. So to me, that puts Medvedev as the favorite, and he's the betting favorite. He's the odds favorite. I think going to this match, it's going to be a huge serving. There's going to be so much on the serve return, and it's always kind of like that in tennis. But there's going to be, I think, Nadal's going to serve well. His serve might not be as effective because Medvedev's probably going to stand way back like he has been. But Nadal has to return really well. I think I don't have the stats up here, but in the US Open final when they played, Medvedev only won 71% of his first serves, which is like a decent number, but he could do higher. And he's in other matches in the match where he beat Nadal in the ATP finals, he won about I think it was 84% of his first serve. So I think if Medvedev wins 80% of his first serves, he wins the match for sure. I also think if Medvedev wins the first set, the odds go to 75% for him winning the match, because I think it's going to be, if Medvedev wins that first set, especially, it doesn't really matter how, the chances of him, he's just such a fighter now. He's mentally strong and he's a great front runner. We know that. I can just see him playing loose and just starting to just rip Nadal around the court. If Nadal wins the first set, it could get a lot more interesting. I think that would make it basically 55-45 for Nadal winning the match. Just because we don't know exactly how Medvedev reacts when he goes down. Sometimes he gets super frustrated. He went down to what does happen is he went down 2-0 against Felix, and he kind of proved to us that he actually can come back against an elite player who's playing very good. But Rafa's a different animal. When players go down to the big three, they lose belief in themselves. And I don't think Medvedev will do that because he, like I said, he's won a slam. He is a Grand Slam champion, and he has beaten the big three enough, especially, Nadal and Djokovic. He's beaten them recently where he knows that he can do it, and he's won a slam, and he feels like he's probably the best player in the world. So yeah, I think the first set matters a lot. If Nadal I think has to win it. Not has to, but he really needs to. He needs to return really well, be able to get Medvedev on the back foot. And I think if you're Medvedev, you're just going to want to go changing direction as much as possible would be super helpful. The flat up the line backhand so that Nadal has to go down and dig out those backhands. That way, I think it'll just run Nadal down if he can just go back and forth and back and forth. I think if Nadal, like he did against Berrettini, can kick the ball huge, that might hurt Medvedev more. It won't hurt him more than Berrettini for sure, but it might throw Medvedev off from being able to dictate with his backhand, which is so good. But that's the thing. Nadal has less options to go because against Berrettini, Nadal could just dump the forehand across court with high looping shots, and he was super safe. It's not very safe against Medvedev because he can step in, take that up the line square. He can do so many things with it. So I think it should be a fascinating match. I'm definitely staying up for it. My pick is Medvedev in 4. I do think he's going to win. I don't not believe in Nadal at all. I think Nadal could come out and Medvedev could play a crappy match, but they've both played a lot of tennis. I think they've played relatively similar amounts of tennis. And Medvedev's a much younger, more informed in overall player. And I think he's got this. So, it'd be amazing to see Nadal get 21. If anyone was going to break Federer's record of 21, I hope it would be Nadal. He's been the one chasing forever. And there's a lot on the line. I think if Medvedev wins this, he's number 1 in the world. I think he might be number 1 in the world anyways, because then Djokovic dropped 2,000 points. There's going to be massive conspiracy. The Djokovic fans are going to hate it. But you know what? It's been the pandemic has messed up a lot of things. It changed the rankings for it included 2 years instead of 1. So that probably helped Djokovic with his ranking at some points. And now Medvedev, I'd say if he wins this, he's definitely the rightful number 1. And that's just how it is. So yeah, Medvedev, Nadal, Sunday for all the marbles, the Grand Slam first Grand Slam of the year, Australian Open final. That's my prediction. Let me know your prediction in the comment section below. Thank you guys for subscribing, liking, joining the channel to show your support. I appreciate it a lot. And check out the free link for Top Court there. We'll see you guys after the final, where I'll either be doing a tribute video to Rafa Nadal with the most ever slams for a male player, or to Medvedev for the baddest man on earth, 2 slams in a row and world #1. What's it going to be? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks again as always, for being here on The Slice, and we will see you after the final.
Welcome to the Australian Open.
Oh, that's a beauty. Oh,